This is a brief video for those who might be trying to make a pair of bespoke shoes that have a custom shape to them or width. Mine are in this video are a asymmetrical wide toe Keen-like shape, but not in any style you'll find for Keen. But I wanted to have a toe cap and a heel cap, so I hope this helps. Okay, so I just wanted to show those who might be interested in how to make a pair of bespoke shoes with a custom sole. Obviously this is pretty rough and it's going to have to still get a bit of work here, but this is a Vibram foam EVA as the midsole. And I've got some Vibram outsole here that is cut to shape, but I've allowed myself an extra for the heel to lap over up to the upper on the back side. And I'm hoping that the front, I've got enough for about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of overlap onto this climbing shoe rubber that has been glued on and shaped somewhat. Obviously there's still a couple of little wrinkles in there, but what I'm hoping is, because this is a real rubber and I'm pretty confident this is a synthetic but still has real rubber material in it, that I'll be able to grind or sand this and it will heat up and essentially kind of become one part of the outsole at the toe. So after that, then I will run a foxing or an outer trim piece here that will cover that seam and any of these little issues here. Okay, so now I have the outsole applied on both of these. Follow the arch there a little bit, and as you can see, I've got this extra material here. I have rounded over slightly, though roughly, the foam EVA sole or midsole, and that way I'm hoping to get a sort of a 1980s Nike tennis shoe on the back, so it'll wrap up here, and then on the front I'm going to try to get this to heat up and bend and adhere to this toe cap, and then I'm going to try and grind it down or sand it down, and that grinding process I'm hoping will heat up and kind of melt some of this into the toe cap. This is an experiment, so we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so this is how I'm going to try and do this fitting of this flap back here. And I'm going to use a silver pen to mark where this flap comes up and over, pulling it tight as I can. This is much easier when you have the shoe in your lap than on a table, but I'm trying to show you what I'm doing here. And I can tell right now that by the time I get over to my side here, I'm going to have a relief cut for where the sole is going to get cut back in plane with or even with the edge of my foam midsole. So I'm going to go ahead and do that cut. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. I'm going to try and get it as accurate as I can. It's going to be a little tricky, and the rubber is pretty flexible on this outsole, so you're going to get a certain amount of discrepancy in your marking and what you actually are able to achieve or on the final part here. I'm going to make sure I have enough material to lap over the side here as I go along. And same concept at the front, because we're going to try and wrap this around. I'm going to do a relief cut here and here, essentially in line with the toe cap, this climbing toe rubber, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now that I have this marked a little bit more accurately than I originally was doing on the table here, this is what we need to do to prepare the leather so that the adhesive, I recommend you use the Renia Cola de Cologne, or however you say that correctly, universal cement. This stuff definitely works better than your standard contact cement. It is a little bit more expensive, but in my experience it does hold better. Okay, so now that my adhesive is dry to the touch, I'm going to try to roll this heel on a hard flat surface so that it is going to make contact with my target line here. I'm going to need 2 hands and all I can to get that to do right, so I'm going to have to shut off the camera at the moment. Okay, so I've got the majority of it applied, but some areas worked out not too bad here at this fold. Some areas are problematic. So what I did is I cut in here a little bit so I can fold this down, but I think I'm getting too much resistance since it's such a sharp corner here, or such a sharp fold, that I'm going to have to heat this up with a heat gun so that I can fold that and then use the the universal adhesive to bond those together. I'll probably have to dress this a little bit with a sander or a grinder or something like that. The front is not too bad. Yes, I know this looks terrible right now, but this is going to get blended in with the sanding belt, probably a 35 grit, so that hopefully these two will melt together. Same thing on the other one. It's got a couple of little pockets there, but I think that I'm going to use the heat gun on that too. Okay, so it's coming along. The heat definitely helped. I'm going to be doing some grinding here a little bit, sanding, blending that in, and final shaping of the sides and so on, and then I can get this whole side covered with a piece of edging or foxing, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so this is after blending in the part that wrapped over, or at least it's partway blended in. I think it's going to work out okay. And now I've got my marks made for my edging, and I'm going to blend that in, and then I'm going to grind that into my toe and heel, I don't know what you call them, caps, I guess, heel cap, and kind of ease that in a little bit. Okay, so I've got the lateral side and the medial side applied, and you notice I did overlap it about, it looks like about 1/2 inch, or probably 12 millimeters, something like that. And the heel cap, some of this I have to trim off like I did on this side, and then I will belt sand those. I'm going to trim off that extra there, and I did that in order to preserve the factory edge of, or the factory top of my edging. And yes, I still have to clean up some glue and a couple of scuffs that I'll dye and touch those in. Okay, so it's a few hours later. I've actually finished with everything, and it's not perfect, but I just wanted to basically see if this was even possible. A shoemaker that I know suggested that if I wanted to do a rubber toe cap, kind of like a Keen shoe or something like that, that I could try using the climbing shoe rubber for that. And I tried using, this is like a Converse All-Star Chuck edging. That's a rubber as well. And then this Vibram is I believe it's a synthetic rubber compound. But they did definitely blend together fairly well, but still, I think if I had planned it a little bit better, these seams would have looked better. But, you know, this is how I learn. So if you're interested in some version of that, at least now you know what's possible. Probably want to plan it a little bit better than I did, but, you know, all in all, I think these will be just suitable for work shoes. That's what I want them for.